Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello viewers, welcome to Sharing the Scoop. Today with us we have Roshita Harpalani, who's currently in her first year doing her MBA from KJ Somaiya. Let's hear from her. Hi Roshita, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Trishna?
I'm good too. It's a pleasure to have you here. So would you like to just start a little bit about your educational background, where you come from,
Sure.
what you do, your achievements?
Right. So, hi everyone. I'm Roshita Harpalani. I have done my graduation from HR College of Commerce and Economics. In fact, me and Trishna were in the same college. So, I've done my bachelor in accounting and finance from HR. Then I got a campus placement from HR itself, and I started working with Deloitte Haskins and Sells. I was in the risk advisory function of in the BFSI sector. And then I was also pursuing my MCOM in banking and finance from HR itself. And this was during when I was it was simultaneously when I was working. So 2 years down, I left my job. I prepared for entrances, and now currently I'm pursuing MBA from KJ Somaiya Institute of Management in Financial Services. So that's about me.
For that. So, would you like to say how your journey has been from BAF to getting into MBA, doing financial services?
It has been quite like every student, it has been quite complicated, some tough choices. So to begin with, my first preference, like I always knew I wanted to make a career in finance, like numbers interested me. I liked finance, even when I was doing commerce from HR. So I enjoyed accounts, I enjoyed finance. So I also gave my CPT after my 12th standard. So yeah, I had plans, like I was confused, should I pursue CA or should I go for BAF and MBA? And the decision then was I cleared my CPA, but I took a decision to do BAF and then pursue MBA. So that's how I made a decision that time. I did my BAF, and then again I also gave my entrances in the third year of BAF. And that time, like every student, I didn't give it my all, and the marks that I scored were not up to the mark, and I thought like I could do really well if I study. And at the same time, I also got my campus placement from HR in Deloitte. So I was like really thrilled about that. And somehow I felt like, I should work before I pursue my MBA, which wasn't the plan earlier. And as soon as I got my campus placement, I was more inclined towards it. So I started with my journey in Deloitte, and I also thought like, I didn't want to lose the link of studying. So I thought like, I'll utilize this time and start with my MCOM, just like an additional so that I don't lose the link of studying. So that also was in banking and finance. And a year after working in Deloitte, I decided the work pressure was really a lot. And I knew that, if I want to give it my all, I wouldn't be able to do my job as well as my entrances. So 3 months before CAT, I decided to call it quits from my work. And because I was sure this is the year I wanted to go for an MBA. And that's how I gave my entrances. And here I am now in KJ Somaiya. So it was quite a challenge.
So you prepared just 3 months prior your CAT exam?
Yeah. I didn't want a big gap in my work experience and by the time I joined college. So it fitted me to leave my work there, and I also got a 14-month work ex. So that was the bare minimum that I really wanted.
Okay. And did you appear for any other entrance exams or just CAT?
No, I gave it all this year. So I'll tell you, I gave CAT, I gave NMAT, for some reason I also gave GMAT. I gave, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, sorry, 3 exams.
3 exams.
And yeah. So actually my preference was to study, do my MBA in Mumbai. And that was my choice, from the start. Due to some family reasons, I didn't want to leave Mumbai. So I didn't really apply to any colleges outside Bombay. And so yeah, these were my few preferences, say NM, KJ Somaiya, SPJ. And I knew that SPJ also takes GMAT. So I just gave it a shot with GMAT. But that's about it. I just gave these 3 entrances.
Okay, that's nice. So, do you want to tell us more about KJ Somaya?
Right. So KJ Somaya is one of the top 25 B schools in India. And since it's located in like the financial capital, that is Bombay, and being one of my preferences, it really fitted well for me. And the one more thing that was like that caught my attention in KJ Somaya is that they have 9 programs in MBA. So one, as we know, the flagship program, that is the MBA core, wherein you have the first year common and the second year you choose your specialization. And one, like the one I am doing, is MBA in financial services, which is you study finance from the first year itself. So that is like another, like, a step ahead of specialization, and that really works well for people like me who are like very sure that finance is what I want to do. And I needed some advanced training in finance. So again, I was like thinking of CFA or MBA. So this became a combination of both, because finance would be advanced in this course, and I'm at the same time I'm having some managerial competencies. So that's what attracted me to this college.
Really interesting. So can you just tell us more about your CAT exam, your CAT and MAT, and how did it go for you? The struggles you faced, challenges you faced, your stronger suit, your weaker subject.
Right. So in my CAT, I thought I did well, but what really didn't work for me was I did well in 2 sections, and I flunked in one, which was verbal. And that was really shocking because I never, even in mocks, I never scored so less in verbal. So it was like
Knowing,
it wasn't balanced.
yeah, and
Yeah.
knowing Roshita, like knowing her since college, she has always been really good in studies also and in grammar English also.
Yeah. So I don't know why didn't it work for me. And it was like in DI it was a 99, and in verbal it was like a 40. So the difference was like drastic, and because of which I lost on many colleges only due to sectionals. So
Hmm.
my overall percentile was 86, and KJ Somaya cutoff is 85. So that was the CAT score, and also KJ started accepting NMAT. And again in NMAT, like since I told you, NM was also one of my preferences. Again in that, my overall cutoff was way beyond their cutoff, the NM Mumbai cutoff. But in like quants, I lost because of a mark. So that was again like there was something or the other going wrong somewhere. So these are the two things that didn't, like somehow I just like did well somewhere, didn't do well somewhere, and it didn't work out. But luckily I've got a call from KJ Somaya, and it was such a relief because I was like so worried. And KJ also started accepting NMAT from the year when I was applying. So it really worked for me because my overall score was in NMAT was 241, which was like a very, very good score for like KJ and in fact all the colleges. So that really worked again well for me. So yeah, that
So
and
you
this so
applied.
this sectionals were a struggle. Yeah,
Okay, sectional was a struggle for you. So you
yeah.
applied your CAT scores and your NMAT scores as well for KJ Sabha, right?
In fact, even since I gave GMAT, I didn't score well because I didn't like really prepare for GMAT. I was only preparing for Indian exams. I just like out of nowhere happened to give GMAT. But I did input all my scores, NMAT, GMAT, and CAT. So I have no idea which score has worked for them. But I
Yes,
guess overall I was above the
yeah.
cutoff. So
One of the three worked for you.
one of the three worked for me. Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, so what about the rounds when you got a call, the GDPI? How was it? Can you tell us about the process and if you remember any questions that were asked?
Yes, yes, sure. It's actually fresh in my memory. So
Mhm.
I think the CAT scores came out in January, and the form filling and everything was already like the applications were already done. So the calls also started coming out as soon as the CAT scores came out. So it was like it happened quite quick. And once the scores were out, you like got a call, like you're selected, and there was an additional form filling process before the interview. So that form filling process was like very detailed because it was like an interview, but in the form style. So you had to like prepare like good answers, like essay kind of answers, and like you had to be like very diligent with the form, because your that would drive your interview. So that was like a pre-interview form filling, application filling. And then I guess the interview happened in March, if I'm not wrong. And during the interview, I remember it was taken by one faculty and one of the one experienced alums. So it was like a mix of both. You had to be good on the technical side because the faculty would be on toes with your technical skills, and also you need to know what you have you done in your work to deal with the questions that the alum would ask you. So it was like a mix of both. However, my interview went brilliantly well, and there were some technical questions which revolved around the subjects that I did in MCOM, because that was like the most recent one. So they did ask me about the subjects, and since it was banking, I was like asked a lot about banking, and luckily I had it prepared, so it went well for me. And also you had to be clear why you want to do this. It shouldn't be like, okay, everyone is doing MBA, so you need to have a purpose. And I guess that's actually the first step of thinking of also doing an MBA. You need to have a purpose. You need to be clear on what have you done earlier. So it revolved around my work ex as well, but it was not like they were grilling me, but they were just like curious to know more about it. And when you have worked, you need to be clear on how you have worked, what are the challenges you face there, and things like that. So I remember few of the questions were in banking were revolved around the very basic concepts, and like CRR, SLR, LAF facilities and stuff like that. And also it revolved around a lot about my GK. So in the end, when we were done, they just asked me a question like, how often do you read the newspapers? And I remember like during the interview time, that was one of my mistake, that I didn't start it quite earlier. I started like 3-4 months before the interview, like, but still it helped me. So they did ask me about something that happened in China and Pakistan that time. I don't really remember the question, but luckily it struck me because I was like keeping in touch with what's
Active.
currently happening. Yeah. So they were impressed with that because I answered a yes, like, yeah, I do read newspapers. So I was worried inside, like, oh my God, I have said a yes, so I better know it. But luckily, something struck me that time. I'm like, yeah, I have read this somewhere, and I was able to answer it.
All right. So what I understand is, for postal interview, you should know about your work, why you want to do MBA, and GK. Very good
Right.
knowledge about the
Yeah.
environment. That, and so that was just one form filling and postal interview. That's it. No GD.
There were 2 rounds. It wasn't a GD. It was a
Okay.
personal interview, and there was this case, like a topic was
Yeah.
given, and you had to speak on that topic. I think it wasn't a case, it was just like a topic. So I remember my topic was work from home or work from office, because it was during that time. So it helped me, like how COVID has changed our lives, and how we are in this online mode, and stuff like that, the pros, the cons. And it was still an easier topic, I feel, because after mine I heard really difficult topics which actually revolved again around GK. So stuff like that. Yeah, like mine was kind of general, but there were topics which were like revolved around GK, so you had to know before you speak.
So this was not just particularly the field you've chosen, like you're in financial services, so they didn't ask you questions related to that, which is general knowledge.
They did ask me, like, the technical questions was more on banking, like it was more on what I have studied earlier. They did ask me like now that I remember, they did ask me like 2-3 journal entries. Yeah. And if I like invest in stocks or something like that, but they didn't go in depth into it because I didn't really invest that much. So I was like pretty honest about it, and I feel that one pro tip is like, be honest. It's no good point trying to lie in interviews, because they catch you within seconds. So it's better, like I told them, I'm not into investing as of now much yet, like I'm very new to it. So they were like, okay. So they didn't drill me beyond that, but I'm sure that if I had answered otherwise, there would have been many questions on like, investment and shares and equity and all of that.
Okay, nice. So, since you have work experience, how would you say like your work experience is helping you right now in your MBA?
So I feel that when you work in a corporate world before your MBA, you already have slight practical knowledge,
Hmm.
and also things like for me, I wanted to get into finance, and I was into risk advisory, and luckily my sector was BFSI in finance. So I liked doing that. So I that got to me like, okay, this is something I would really like to pursue my future qualifications into. But it's important because had it been otherwise, I would know it before, like, okay, this doesn't interest me. Maybe marketing is a thing for me. So I feel that, when you work in the field that you think that you want to pursue your further studies in, and if you work in that before pursuing, it gives you like a practical touch. And also, while you're pursuing, there are quite a few things which you will relate to. So in Deloitte, I was in the BFSI sector in mutual fund industry. So I was like conducting risk advisory audits. So there were some things that, about mutual funds, my knowledge really like, came across. And now when I study it, I like it. I'm like, okay, this is something I had seen in my work ex. So it's good to relate. Like, it doesn't like help you studying because theory and practical are two really different things. But, when you relate to at least some part of it, you like it. And definitely the soft skills, so, like basic soft skills, communication, mailing, like writing skills, all sort of soft skills come into the picture. So you're well prepared for everything.
Noted. Okay. So just to quickly wrap this up, would you like to give any pro tip or any suggestion to the MBA aspirants for this year?
Uh, yes. First would be patient and like believe in yourself. I know this sounds like a very generalized pro tip, but trust me, it's the key because these entrances take a toll on you, and you tend to like doubt yourself because you see your friends who would have thought that you don't study and scoring better and stuff like that. It's like a process. So just be patient through the process because just know in the end the best will work out for you. Whatever it is, it will be the best for you. Have that acceptance and like make a call. Like where if this is the year I want to pursue my MBA, I'll give it my best and like be happy with whatever I get then. So you need that balance because otherwise you will start like getting very cranky because I faced that. I was crying a lot after my scores, as I told you about my sectionals and stuff like that. Also, besides the generalized pro tip, another pro tip I would like to say that have something besides your studies, like because besides your academics, it's good to have, like I didn't have that. So I would say like go for like more some extracurricular activity that interests you besides studying, totally besides studying, and like develop yourself in that. Or and also like be aware of what's happening because I told you like I started reading the newspaper 3 months before, and I realized that this should have been a habit since before.
Hmm.
So it's never too late to start as soon as you can. It really builds your confidence because in GDPS this is like one of the very crucial things. When you give examples from the current happenings, it will help you. So these are like some pro tips that I realized later, and I would like others to build upon it from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess even like when you start your MBA, you realize that it's very important to be well versed with current events because it's just not
Yeah.
anymore about reading the books that they have asked you to. Because your exams, they can just ask you anything from current events too in your exams.
Yes, yes, definitely. In MBA, it's like not like your graduation, wherein where you study from your book and just give the exam what's there in
Hmm.
the book. It's totally drives on case studies. It drives on a lot of current happenings. So you will feel a bit left out if you're not in that group already. So this
Hmm.
habit is something that one should develop. Like for me in finance, economic times is a must, and like reading a lot. So yeah, in fact, for anyone, I think it would be a very good boon. Yeah.
Wow, that was really great, Roshita. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I'm sure the viewers got a lot of clarity. And yes, thanks a lot. We wish you also all the very best.
Thank you, Trishna.